Hello everyone. So I'm gonna be making a video guide about professions, about how they work, what you can make for different items, how to make money with them, and of course how to level them up. Now I'm gonna start with explaining the different types of professions. There are 5 different professions at the moment. You have 3 primary professions, which consists of smithing, of alchemy, and accessory crafting. Now there's also 2 secondary professions, which is mining and herbalism. As you can see those guys here. Per character you're able to have 1 primary profession and 2 secondary. On my main character Charibin, I have alchemy as my main profession, and I have mining and herbalism as my second professions. Since you can have both of them, it's really valuable to have it. And I'm gonna be starting with explaining on how you should be leveling up your smithing. Now, the best way to leveling up smithing from 1 to 10 is basically by just crafting arrows. Now, arrows are really cheap to craft, and the only materials they need is silver plates and opals. So you basically just go into novice harvesting farm, and you just mine a bunch of these silver veins. I think you need to craft about 150 opal and silver plates in total, or it might be closer to 200. But you can see how many you need as you go along. But it's, you know, basically just a day or two, just stand and farm up the 200 fatigue and make them into plates afterwards. Once you've gotten all your silver plates and opals refined with mining, you can start leveling up your smithing. And down on shooter you will find the quality arrow for bow, which uses silver plates, and you have quality arrow for crossbow, which will be using opal. Now you can craft these all the way up to level 10. They will get master all the way up to level 10. So this is the absolutely best and most efficient way to get smithing up really quick and cheap. Alright, now that you've reached smithing level 10, what you wanna start crafting now is timeless boots. There are 5 different boots, 1 for each class, and they have a little bit of different materials. It's either dark crystal or black crystal. Other than that, it's 1 time rock and 2 advanced item crystals. So there's a little bit of a cost in crafting these. Material costs for around like 2 to 3 million, depending on the prices of time rocks and the dark crystals. Now, time rocks are dropped by Pink Bean and by Arcarium, but they're easily found in free market in large quantities. So basically, you just want to craft these. They give 1400. I think they give 1460 if you're just level 10. I'm a Meister now, so I'm receiving less mastery for these. But you basically craft these from 10 to 11 in smithing. Because once you reached level 11 in smithing, you're gonna be able to start crafting Master Craftsman's Cube, and these ones give a ton of mastery. So if you just craft a bunch of Master Craftsman's Cube, you're soon gonna be able to get level 12 to get Meister in smithing, and then you're gonna be able to start crafting renowned Master Craftsman's Cubes, which should be your goal with smithing, because this is basically the only 2 items that's actually gonna bring in money for you as a smith. Now there are some recipes for like infinite throwing knives and the giant bullet and flame throwing stars that do have value. However, you're only able to craft one of these. You need one recipe for each craft, and the recipes are incredibly rare to find. Like, I've tried farming them, like it's hopeless. I mean, without drop gear and a shit ton of luck, you're not gonna find them. So it's not time efficient either. Like, there are better throwing stars out there. So cubes, that should be your market and goal. Hey, so now I'm gonna show you how to level up alchemy to level 10 in the most cost efficient way, and it's a pretty fast way because getting the materials to craft potions to level it up, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of materials, it's expensive, and it's just inefficient in my way. There's a much better way, and that is to fuse brown skull caps together to get the mastery. So what you basically need is you need identical items. I've bought brown skull caps, which cost 500 meso from an armory vendor in Hennessy's. So they are really cheap, it cost me nothing. And then I'm gonna buy a bunch of alchemy stones, because you do need alchemy stones just for the crafting. Now this has a 5,000 meso cost, but it's a small price to pay considering how easy it is to just fuse these together. So you simply just start and fuse these together, and you will get, let's see how much, 120 in alchemy mastery. Now this will decrease for every level I level up. I'm gonna get less and less mastery from it, but it's still probably the best way to get alchemy to level 10, at least in my opinion. So you just keep doing this, and every time you level up, you just talk to her. Come on. Raise alchemy level. Yes, I wanna raise it. So now I'm level 2, and just keep doing this. You're gonna have to run and buy more of these hats eventually, because you're gonna need to craft. You're gonna need to fuse a shit ton of them. Oh, epic, cool. So you just keep doing this until you got alchemy until level 10. And this brown skull cap doesn't exist in all vendors, so for that reason I usually just go to Hennessy's. And no, that's not the right. No, that's a dermatologist. What the hell am I doing? Here it is. Armor seller. Here you can just buy them. Just buy them in bulk, because you're gonna fuse every single one. You can't buy too many of them. So now I'm gonna talk about how to level up your alchemy from level 10 to 12 to get the Meister. And most of the things in alchemy cost a lot of money. It's not gonna be cheap to craft your way up to Meister, but if you decide that that's what you want, one of the best ways to do it is simply by crafting this mana potion. It uses juniper flower oil, and when you craft a mana potion, you're actually gonna be able to make another craft. This one will give 700 mastery, but if you just buy superior potion coagulant from the merchant, you're gonna be able to make another craft to make it into a mana pill. So you're gonna get 1400 mastery each time. However, you're gonna have a 5-minute cooldown while making this, so there is a bit of downtime before, you know, in between each craft, which is gonna mean it's gonna take time to get this. But juniper flower oil, it's not really used for any good high-end potion. Usually people just stack these up. They can, I see them on the free market for 100k each, 200k sometimes, so they're quite cheap. There's not much value in them. The other, you can do create health pills and health potions if you want, but they will use juniper berry seed oils, and now these ones are expensive. It's 1 million basically for each seed oil, and they're much better potions to craft with the seed oils. You can make experience potions, you can make wealth potions, and I mean there's a bunch of things that uses seed oil, so that's why seed oil is the expensive potion to make. But I just recommend that you go into the expert secret patch, and you simply just mine these flowers, and you just stack up on the juniper berry flowers, sorry, and just craft oils. And once you've gotten enough, you just start leveling up alchemy. It's gonna take some time, but it's a very cost-efficient way to do it. Another way to do it, if you have a lot of money, or you have a lot of money to invest to make money, you can make a bunch of different potions, such as wealth, XP accumulation potions, and you just craft these all the way from 10 to 12. However, alchemy has a problem maintaining the mastery once you've reached 12, just as accessory crafting has, because there's no natural item that you're constantly crafting. For that reason, just crafting mana potion and the mana pill is a good way to maintain your Meister. However, I don't see much value in having level 12 alchemy, not yet, at least for me, but I don't know. It differs from person to person how far you've gotten. Hey, now I'm going to talk about how to level accessory crafting. And accessory crafting starts out pretty similar to how to level smithing. You start by mining a lot of silver and opal plates. And basically what you start crafting is this level 40 ring called defense ring and deadshot ring. It uses opal and silver plates. And you can craft these two rings really high until you stop getting mastery from it. You can go all the way up to level 8. And you can even continue crafting some different types of rings if you want with other forms of plates that will give more and more mastery. The higher level an item is, the higher mastery you will receive from creating them. But however, you want it to be as cheap as possible, which is why I recommend just going with these level 40 rings. You can do it all the way up to level 10. I did not do this though. I only went up to level 8, and after I got level 8 I went to earrings and started crafting timeless earrings. Now these are not cheap at all to craft. They cost 3 luck and 8 advanced item crystals and 1 time rock, so there's a lot of materials. The hardest one finding being luck crystals, but this is the most cost efficient way to level up accessory crafting, either from 8 to 12 or from 10 to 12. The problem with the timeless earrings is they only give 1458 mastery, and that never increases. You will receive a very small amount of mastery, and they have a 15-minute cooldown between each craft, which I can show you here. factory craft one. So you cannot just craft them in bulk. You gotta wait 15 minutes. 15 minutes when you level up, which means leveling accessory crafting takes such a long time to get to Meister. But timeless earrings can actually be sold. This is why I recommend, if you're gonna be leveling up accessory crafting the timeless earrings, because they give 90 charm, and basically everyone needs charm. Every new character people make and they want to get up their pocket item, they need 90 charm, and some people want level 100 charm. So you can sell these. It's not that easy to sell them though. It's hard to find the buyers. It's hard to find someone with like just enough money, because most people are not willing to pay a lot of money, especially the crafting cost for these earrings. So you gotta find someone with money to sell them to. So you might sometimes I stack up maybe 50, sometimes 100 until I find a buyer, and you know, usually they just buy everything. So just keep going with timeless earrings. This is the cost-efficient way. Now, if you want it to go as fast as possible, and you have basically unlimited amount of money or materials, the other way to do it is by crafting rings. And these rings uses advanced crystals, which is very cheap, but they do use 2 dark crystals or 2 black crystals. But they do give 900 mastery, and they also have a cooldown. But you can craft one of each ring, so you can craft multiple different rings at the same time, and then we'll wait 15 minutes and make 5 new crafts, and 5, you know, just keep going like that. But you're not gonna get any money for these. I mean, you can sell them for like 500k meso. I mean, it's such a small amount that you're gonna go with a loss on crafting these. But it is a faster way to do it. But you're also gonna max out fatigue really quick. So I recommend going with the timeless earrings. And once you have accessory crafting to Meister, which I do, you gotta be able to maintain the mastery of it. Because this is the thing, as soon as you reach level 10, if you don't craft anything for 24 hours, your mastery is gonna start falling. It's gonna decrease, and basically it's gonna be very expensive for you to get it back up. It goes really quick. You lose, I think, 1000 per hour. So that's quite a lot. That's basically almost an entire earring craft just to get back 1 hour. So you really need to make sure that if you're going for craftsman or meister, that you maintain your mastery. And the way I do it with accessory crafting is simply by crafting timeless earrings, because the only thing of real value when it comes to crafting with accessory crafting is either meister earrings or the meister ring. Those are the 2 most common crafts when it comes to accessory crafting. But these are insanely expensive in terms of material and resources. So this is not something you can craft every day. This takes time to get the materials to make. So it's not enough to maintain your mastery. So you gotta be crafting something, and for that reason I craft 1 timeless earring every day, and that works for me. I can keep my mastery at 110,000 somewhere. So even if I forget one day, I'm still not gonna lose my meister, which is the most important part. Okay guys, so now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the professions themselves, what makes them good, what makes them bad, how I recommend that you place them, and which ones you should level up first. So I'm gonna start with talking about accessory crafting, because I've done a lot of accessory crafting both on this account and previous account, and accessory crafting is the most expensive and the most hard leveled profession of them all. It's also the one with the least amount of profit in it, because basically the only items you actually make money from it, as far as I found, is timeless earrings, Meister ring and Meister earrings. Timeless earrings, they can be sold, but it's not a stable profit. You generally bind up a lot of materials and money into an item, which takes a long time to sell, which is really not what you want. You don't want to bind up money too long. That's really bad from a business perspective. So if you look at the Meistering, that's actually the most easy one, the easiest to sell. However, you have a sort of the same problem there. The ring itself doesn't take too long to sell. Maybe it takes a day, takes a week, but what takes the longest time is basically getting the materials to craft it. So you're binding up a lot of money into the materials to craft it, and the profit you make is, I mean, it's not that big. It's not 100% profit. Like you have a margin of maybe 30, 40, 50% if you're lucky. So it's money, you can do it, but it's not a lot of money, and you're not able to craft one ring every day. You know, it takes longer than that to get the materials. And the Meister earrings, I mean that takes even longer to get the materials, because you need the confusion fragments, and that's just such a rare item to find in bulk, since you need 10 of them. So I don't ever recommend getting accessory crafting as a means to make money. You're not going to be making money with it. I mean, you can if you're really skilled, if you're really good, but it's just not worth the time. Trust me. And I mean, even if you craft Meisterings or earrings, there's 10 others that's doing the same thing. So you have a lot of competition. So I mean, I got accessory crafting on my Luminous because there was no one in our guild that has accessory crafting Meister, so I kind of made it for everyone. That's why I tell people, just, I mean, if you need something, just come to me, give me the materials, I'm gonna craft it. It doesn't bother me at all, it doesn't hurt my business, you know. It's I do it for free. So if you guys ever need something crafted, I mean, you need a Meistering crafted, just come with it, talk to me, come with the materials, I'll make it for free to you. So that's accessory crafting. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit about alchemy. Alchemy is in my opinion the best profession, not because it's the one that you make the most amount of money in, but because it's the only one that actually makes your character better, especially your main character, which is why I recommend having alchemy on your main and not on a link or a mule or anything like that. You want alchemy on your main because of the fact that you receive the spells fusing and extracting, and also the possibility of having 2 potions on you at the same time. Now, while you're low level and maybe doesn't have that much, you know, damage and range, so you're probably not gonna use the double potion much, but as you go along, it's gonna be more and more relevant to be able to use 2 potions at the same time. So for that reason, alchemy should really be prioritized on your main character. There's no real point in having the other, either smithing or accessory crafting, on your main, because it doesn't change anything. It's not, you know, better in any way. So alchemy on your main, that's how it should be done. And going more into the economy of and making money of alchemy, many of the crafts that are good generally require a recipe. For example, you want to craft XP accumulation potions, or you want to make dexterity potions, all those kind of things. They require a recipe, and the recipe only lasts for 1 day, so 24 hours. And I mean, you can find those recipes on the market. They're not that expensive. You find them every now and then, but it's still a little bit annoying having to use them every time you want to make a craft. So you generally try to bulk up with with materials, like I'm doing. I'm just collecting, and then when I make a craft, I mean, I don't make a craft until maybe I got like 400 juniper seed oils or something. Like, I don't see the point. I make a big batch of potions, and then I just, I mean, I know somewhat how much I'm gonna be using, and I sell the rest. That's a cost-efficient way to do it, and I also just farm all my junipers, berry flower, hyssop oil, and seed oils, or juniper seeds rather, to make into oils. I just farm them myself. I don't buy them. There's no need. So once you do the crafts, you can make money from selling these potions though. Especially XP accumulation potion. That's probably the easiest one to sell, and you can make about 100% profit on them, because it usually takes maybe 15 million to craft them in material costs, and you can sell them, you know, for 10 mil each if you're lucky. You probably have to, prices will go down on them a little bit, so maybe it's more like 12 million for crafting, and you can sell them for 8 million each, maybe. This, you know, these prices go up and down, but you can make a pretty good profit on them. However, you can't really sell them in bulk. People generally only buy 1, 2, you know, every now and then. You don't sell 25 to the same person, so they take a lot of time to sell. Even though they have a really good profit margin, you bind up a lot of money and a lot of materials for a long time, which is why I recommend not actually buying the materials to craft them, rather just farm them yourself. That way you don't have to bind up your mesos into something that's just gonna take such a long time to sell. And if you do get Meister in alchemy, you're gonna be able to start crafting the boss rush potion and advanced advanced greater blessing and hero potion, rush, and blessing potion. So these potions are really expensive to make. They require a lot of materials, and usually materials you're not able to craft or farm yourself. So because of that reason, you generally need a hired merchant, just and with a buy tab, just to get the materials to make these potions. And there's already a bunch of people making them, so trying to make a profit on them, it's possible, but you don't have a great margin. It's not like, you know, the XP accumulation potions where you can make 100% profit, because this one it will be much lower, because there's so much competition of people doing it, and these don't require a recipe either. So that's also a reason why the margin is not that high on them. So I don't recommend alchemy as a good way of making money. It is a way to make money, but it's not the best way to make money. So I mean, if you want to tinker around and test it and try it, prove me wrong, you know, why not? It's good to test, but I generally just keep my alchemy at level 10, and I don't craft much for selling. I basically just craft for self-use. Now, the last profession then is gonna be smithing, and like I said earlier, I recommend that smithing as well as accessory crafting is placed on a link and not on your main, because there's no real reason for it. Smithing is a great profession, because one, it's really easy to level it up fast. I have actually three Meister Smiths to make cubes, and they're really easy to maintain, both the mastery and just leveling them up, because you can just craft arrows all the way up to level 10, and then you just do some timeless boots, you use them yourself, at least that's what I did, and after that you just craft cubes, and the cube crafts give so much mastery that, I mean, you're gonna have unlimited amount of mastery in the end. my one of my smiths has 8 million masters. So I mean that's never, even if I stop playing for half a year, that's never gonna run out. So that makes smithing really good in terms of leveling it up, because it's cheap, it's fast, and you can do it on multiple characters to have multiple smiths. When it comes to money, it's also really good, because I make most of my money by cube grinding. That's a really efficient way of spending your time, getting experience, getting some meso, selling items you pick up, and at the same time gaining cubic blades. And it's a trick to be able to make it efficiently enough for it to be worth it. But you know, if you tinker around with it and practice and do specific links like luminous and stuff, just for the purpose of grinding cubic blades, and you then make them into cubes, you're gonna be able to make a good profit from it, because not only are you getting all the materials yourself, you're actually just using that material to increase the profit even more. So it's a great way to get a stable income. I don't make most of my money actually from the cubes. I do sell a lot of cubes, but a lot of times I just don't have the time to do as much cubic grinding as I want to. But as a new player, I recommend you do cubic grinding. You don't have to do cubes, because you do have to get a real good free market spot. You need to be able to compete with all the other cube sellers, and trust me, there's a lot. So if you don't want to do that, which that takes time to actually get good at selling the cubes, just sell the cubic blades to different stores. And you can also just offer cube crafting services. You don't even have to make cubes to sell yourself. You can basically just tell everyone that, you know, give me the materials, give me you know, a couple of million, and I'll be making the cubes for free for you, or you know, not for free, but for a fee rather. So smithing, it's a good way to make money. It's a stable way, and I highly recommend having at least one character with Meister Smith. So that's basically everything about professions. I hope you guys found this guide useful, and I'll see you around.